Good afternoon, Dhruv.
Good morning, Vincent. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
Great, as great as one can be in the circumstances we are in.
Yes, exactly. Listen, thank you very much. I know you're very busy dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic in India, but I think it's great to have a leader in India who's able to talk to me. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Listen, Dhruv, as I normally do, I'll start by giving a brief introduction of who you are, and then we'll go right into our question. And so,
Okay.
if you don't mind, you have some 30 years of experience in business in India, and you started from sales, operation. You've been COO of a company, and you and I met when you were the head of retail for Adidas in India,
Correct.
right? You're now the country manager for India and Southeast Asia for Forever New Clothing, and hopefully we can talk about that as we go through the
Sure.
interview. And the other thing that people need to know is you're actually my first celebrity interview,
Not a celebrity.
and you are the author of this book
You
here.
got the voice.
Certainly, and I
Yeah.
have it. I even have it with the dedication.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's so Grit, Gravel, and Gear, and it's a book that recounts your journey from essentially Alaska to Latin America on a bicycle and a solar journey. So listen, Dhruv, the first thing I think we wanted to talk about is the overall situation in India and how somebody like you, is leading through the crisis, leading through the pandemic in India. So can you perhaps give us an overview?
So yes, there has been a very massive disruption in the economic activity, the social fabric of the country across all the states, and it has also obviously unleashed a very different type of problem, which is a massive collateral damage to the outbreak of the pandemic. So there is a huge socio-economic crisis going on with the migrants. Millions of them found themselves without jobs in the urban parts of the country and went back to the states, the rural areas where their families are. Obviously, these are factory workers, household help, plumbers, electricians, carpenters. So the entire wave of skilled, semi-skilled migrants has made its way back to the rural hinterland in India and left a huge gap in the economy. So when the factories and the other businesses open up, they would be completely devoid of trained manpower. Obviously, a lot of businesses are currently operating, which have started operations in many parts of the country, where there's manufacturing or services. They anyway are constrained by having to work with 30% attendance or 50% attendance. So therefore, the manufacturing output or work output would be possibly 30 to 40% of pre-COVID levels.
Yeah.
But it is only anyone's guess when the migrants will come back to the cities to work, because the economic back is broken.
Right.
So that's one part of the problem. The second part of the problem, obviously, is the massive contraction of the GDP from being a 5% growth GDP economy in the first quarter of 2020. We are now going to slide to minus 2% GDP growth by the end of this year, and perhaps even a further degrowth in the coming first quarter of next year.
But so Dhruv, as you talk about this, give us a sense. Has the pandemic in India spread? Are people very concerned about levels of infection, death rates, or is that somewhat under control?
Well, India is not one homogeneous country. It's almost like a mini Europe. So it's heterogeneous in many ways. The pandemic, obviously, the key epicenters today, the red zones, are the cities of Delhi and Mumbai.
Right.
Okay, so, and they are Mumbai is the financial capital, Delhi is the political capital, but also home to many businesses. It's a very important strategic city. So both cities today are locked down, and they will possibly continue to remain locked down to normal economic activity for a very long time. So Delhi opened up about a week ago. The chief minister said that life has to move on. We have to deal with this. Mumbai remains completely locked down with very few restrictions having been removed. What has happened, Vincent, in the last 10 days is that many parts of the country, especially the northeast and the slightly eastern parts of the country, which are green zones, have now started getting infected because of the surge of migrants going back from the cities. So while the curve is generally flattening a bit in the urban centers, it may see a very sharp spike in the rural economy or the rural sectors in the coming weeks and months.
Right. So, Dhruv, thanks for that overview. As a leader, and you have a business that you have to lead in India, what are some of the things that you've been doing to keep the business going, keep people motivated, and just generally drive through this period of intense turmoil?
But this is unprecedented. So from an employee safety perspective, from an employee financial security perspective, this is a big challenge. It's a big challenge to be able to serve consumers when all your stores are shut. E-commerce was restricted for 2 months to only essential items. So we fall under, being a fashion brand, we fell under non-essential. And therefore, even e-commerce was not allowed for until very recently. So we were taking orders from customers, but only prepaid orders. And only recently we started delivering them. But coming back to your earlier question about how did we deal with this, right before the lockdown started, we were already cognizant of the fact that this is going to become a very big thing. And
Yeah.
we had started taking precautions in our office. 10 days before India was locked down, our offices were already on 50% attendance on the system of Team A, Team B, Team C. We had rotational working going on. One of the other things that we did right in the beginning, Vincent, was that we are a women's focused brand.
Right.
So 60% of the employees in our business across stores and head office are women. And many of them are young mothers with
Right.
children back home who are aged 2 or 3. So there's a different complex problem. And with the metros having shut down, transport shutting down, we had to keep the mothers at home.
Yeah.
India also has a peculiar problem that everyone should be aware of. It's not a peculiar problem, but from a pandemic perspective, it's a problem that we live in joint families. And in a joint family, you have a grandfather, grandmother, and maybe a grandson. And therefore, the aged are the most susceptible to this. So if the young ones start moving out to attend work and they pick up the infection on the way, they're going to end up, infecting the most vulnerable parts of the home, which are the 70, 80-year-old people who are living with them. And you also have the grandchildren and the grandnieces who are living with you, or 2 years old or 3 years old. So when we were considering opening up the office next week, we held back and said we won't open because 75% of our employees were facing some problem or the other. They were either young mothers or they were living in joint families. So we chose to continue working from home at least for another month or two till the situation is a bit more stable. So that's one thing we did. Another thing, Vincent, we did is we were very, very sure that there's going to be alarm and anxiety amongst employees. So we made sure that we paid people salaries on time.
Yeah.
We were one of the very few fashion brands that did not cut salaries at all for the month of March, for April. And even in May, we are paying out salaries at a much higher level than most other fashion brands. So we made sure that we paid our people. We created many WhatsApp groups to, like a department head for every 25, 30 employees on WhatsApp to keep them engaged and happy and stuff like that. We were running contests every day, games, quizzes, running training programs. We did almost 6,000 hours of man-hours of training in 2 months, online for people across SOPs, product knowledge, customer service. And one of the things we made sure was that each one of our store managers enrolled for a course to further their skills and abilities in any area of their subject. So we encourage them to do that so that when they come out of this, they are future ready for a lot more other things than just being store managers.
Understood.
So there's a lot of work that went on. Yeah.
So Dhruv, if I can summarize, basically, I think that the point that you raised that is of particular interest is this idea that people live in households that are multi-generational. And
Yes.
that's one of the things we saw in northern Italy, is that
Yes.
there the households are and that's how a lot of elderly people, for example, end up getting the infection. So because you have, I think you said 60% of women, a lot of women have young children at home. A lot of people live in multi-generational homes. You had
Yes.
to really think twice about kind of exposing these people to a potential infection by bringing them to work.